Daily is bearish. 4 hours bearish. Perfect. Let's let it sink in. Seems like we're closing below this area, closing below this support here. Bearish candle after bullish candle. Trend is down. Probably this is the target right over here. So as long as price stays below this level, I think this should continue down. That's the idea. Also, the idea is if this was presented to me 10 times, I'd take it every time. Every time I take this trade.
The trade and upgrade sale is on now at Kia. There is no better time to upgrade to a Kia. For a limited...
Kia.
The trade and upgrade sale is on now at...
Other than that, ETH is also heading down. It's got some movement. It's got some wicks there to the left. It's got some support. What's the price here? 964 down to 800. Seems like a good idea. Not really 100%, but should work out. I've blown on gold yesterday. Well, that's what happens binary options trading. You try binary options and you blow the account. Hey, good morning, Chris. I just joined. You are selling GJ. Yes. I believe GJ is going to come down, but I also have a stop loss, right? So your stop loss is basically going to, like, if you place a stop, if in case price goes the opposite way, right? If price goes the opposite way, hits your stop loss, then you're losing what you plan to lose. So I got maybe 2% at risk over here. I'm planning to risk 2% to gain 3%. That's pretty good. So, let's let this play out. Oh. I'm doing good. How are you doing? Dun, 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 dun. What do you guys think of GP CAD? I think you should post a chart first. post a chart so we can see what you think of GPCAD, because hey, my idea might not align with your idea, so it's very important. Ashraf. What's going on here? Have you entered US oil? Traded US oil? No, I have not traded US oil. I don't trade US oil. What's the possible trend of Euro USD? I don't know, Romeo Africa. I don't trade Euro USD. Looks like GJ is going the opposite way. Well, we'll see. If the 15-minute candle, now here's the thing. If the 15-minute candle breaks the high of the previous one, I'm going to get out of my positions, because for price to continue down, it has to create lower highs and lower lows on the candles. So that's what we're going to do. Yeah, I got out. Not going to stick around. Gotta be fluid, gotta close losses early. Trade one, GJ sells. -7 pips. Instead of losing 10, 11 pips. So we can chill. Gold is bearish. Interested in buys because of the support it's hitting. Thoughts? I think you should read your statement 4 or 5 times. Gold is bearish, but you're looking for buys. That's a very bad idea. I don't understand. How do you justify that? Would you re-enter GJ trade if the candle flipped bearish? Yes, I will re-enter, but for now it's not flipping bearish. It went too high than the previous 15-minute candle, so that justified me, to close my entries. So that's okay. Gold is bearish, so gold's going to continue going bearish. That's what gold's doing. Raja, can you explain why the GJ trade failed? The GJ trade failed because it decided to go up. Simple. There's no reason why it failed. It just decided to go up. I mean, the signs were all pointing towards sells, So I guess it was the probability that it won't work out. That's okay. It's no big deal. It's just, ooh, gold. Yeah. Chris, I think gold's gonna continue dropping. I think gold's gonna get to like 1493 even. GP CAD take profit is above a resistance. I don't understand. Shouldn't be above resistance. I was actually looking at GP CAD, and let's do this. Let's mark up chart and let's see if they're ranging or not. Think it might be a liquidity grab on GJ. Yeah, we'll see what happens in the next hour. I'll wait for this hour to close. So what? I got 20 more minutes left for this hour to close, so 20 more minutes to do some things. Essentially got support now, and we got resistance. So GJ is ranging, right? We got resistance here, and we got support. What the fuck is going on? Support down there, so GJ is ranging. There's no trade on GJ now. You know, I thought it's gonna head down, but it didn't head down, so now it's ranging. Euro JPY, let's go to the 1 hour chart. We got support, price is coming down. Let's go to a lower time frame. Lower time frames are creating, so see we got support down here at 117,750, and we got resistance at around 118,900. 117,900. It's also in a range. Gold is trending down. Gold is the only pair that's trending. I missed the sell on gold. GP CAD, same thing. I think all GP pairs are moving up now. So we look on the 1 hour, 4 hour, start on the daily. Yeah, I don't know if daily wants to go bearish. I mean, this will be a crazy trade if daily goes bearish and fills the wick, which is 32 pips when it goes bearish. Might wanna look into that. So might wanna wait to see if this support gets broken or not, because the daily, this is the daily wick fill right over here, this candle. So we're gonna keep that in mind. If support breaks, we're filling the wick down there. But since it's heading up, let me just remove the zone. So since price is heading up, so you're looking to see where's the next resistance. You're like, oh, this is the next resistance right over here. And if you extend it, you'll notice that on the left, there was some sort of a consolidation right over here. Support formed and support, and you know, so this is resistance, this is support. How big is this range? This is a 40 pip range. So now we wait for price to break out. Because if price breaks above from here, it's going to go to this point here, 61940. So you just got to wait. The waiting game. So the UJ is trying to move back up. If a UJ moves back up, you got resistance here. And it's bouncing from support. But it's the 1 hour, yeah, it's the 1 hour. What's for breakfast? I had some watermelon. I think watermelon's pretty good. Hey, good morning, Nicole T. Nicole T in the house. So yeah, just ranging now. I mean, what are you gonna do?
Morning, sir.
Hey, good morning.
I'd be watching out for gold today. I think it's going to screw a lot of people over.
Oh, that's not the first time it's done that.
Yeah, if you look at the weekly on gold, we've just tapped into that weekly range where you had the bottom wick of that previous weekly indecision candle. And there's a very hard support at around 1493. So I think if anyone's trading gold, unless it breaks like like down to 14, like past that, at any given point, it could revert right back. I'm not touching gold today because I don't trust the level that it's at. I think if you traded it last night or during the London session, you filled like the wick, or you basically the daily wick got filled going down. But if you look across on the daily, there's a hard support at like 1493 basically. So it's very scary. Yeah, 1495, 1493. Yeah, what you got there. So I don't really trust gold to go further down because, to be honest, it doesn't make sense. What we should have seen on the weekly is a bigger rejection on the top, and we didn't.
Yeah, there would have been like a move up.
Right, there would have been a move up and another wick down, and because we don't have that, this is scary to me. Because if you look at all the previous weekly wicks with gold, even when there's been a rejection, there's always been a wick up and then a push down. There's never been a candle with a wick and then just a drop. So
yeah, I think the fun part is once gold breaks below 1493, it's coming down to 1480.
Right. For it to break 1493, it's going to be very, very tough, I think.
Yeah, it's a very strong daily support.
Yeah. For it to break that, I think there has to be a actual announcement to improve the U.S. economy or change the outlook of the U.S. economy, and that will drive gold down to 1480. But if there's nothing, it's going to range and it's going to pick people apart. So my suggestion is, unless you're in a good position on a sell, I wouldn't touch gold right now. Because what's going to happen is probably around the New York session, it's going to drop from 1495 to 1493, and everyone's going to be like, oh, sell gold, and then it's going to get into that daily range, and it's going to whipsaw right back, and it's going to crush people because it'll just range in that area where you have below that support, and then into the 1480 range, it's going to range in that area. Like I can't see gold dropping to 1480 today. Like I would quit trading if that happens, but. It's just because it's going to drop in there and people are going to think that it's going to be a sell-off. And I really think today and tomorrow, like a little bit today and yesterday, was the starting of this grab, because tomorrow when they have sort of more discussions with FOMC, it'll drive it all the way back up.
Yeah, they're having discussions as well.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, gentlemen.
How are we?
How's your gentle morning going?
I don't know if it's morning or what time. I can't remember. I've been up and down and looked at gold, and I managed to get some good entries this morning before London session. So I'm all right for the sells, but I wouldn't. Same as Ted. I wouldn't be interested right now.
Oh fuck! GJ went all the way up. Hope no one held those sells in GJ. I actually took sells when the 30 minutes started, and once the 15-minute candle broke the high of the previous, I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna close and wait, and boom, look at that. Jesus. GJ is also ranging now. GJ is back on his bullshit.
Everything's ranging. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Ninad. Ninad, I still remember that webinar when you were on gold and you were like, oh, this is the second touch and it will go down. And we were all saying, no, that's not how it works. And gold did drop. Gold went down.
Yeah, you missed that trade. You thought that it was a bullish trend and then it went down.
Yeah. Yes.
It's okay. Gold is a bitch currency, as we all know. It's just I was so stupid and never dig that folder in our family section. It's a worth a lot. It's a worth a lot. Gold section written by Ted, and it's a worth a ton. If anybody listening in the Forex family, you should go in that. You should dig in that. You no need to bug the Ted and Raja, and you just go in the journal section. That's it. Finish.
Finito.
Yes, finito.
Yeah, like I trade GJ, so I'm looking at GJ, and GJ is in this range. All right, now write that down. Range. I trade your JPY, and your JPY is at support, and it's creating some sort of a resistance here as well. And if you look left, you'll find that it's also, like, look left. See all this consolidation here? So it's also ranging. So write that down. Range.
Yeah, I think with GJ, what you're seeing is you're seeing the daily candles getting ready for a breakout.
Yeah.
If you go to the daily structure, you'll see that the last couple of days have been really, really whack in terms of the way that they've been formed. So there's really no body in those candles, and it's just been a whipsaw back and forth. So I really think that we're getting ready for a huge move with GJ. I hope to the upside, because once we break that resistance, it's going to fly up, because we've got a clear path just above. Yeah, you just had it like up just above one. Yeah, all that area, like you have a nice clear path to 131 almost. Once we break this consolidation, and what I mean by breaking that is we have to break above like 130, I think.
Yeah, because like looking at the 4 hour, like holy shit, it's like hot coals.
Yeah. So I just think that has a lot to do with sort of the underlying tone of what's going on with Brexit. So, like I've already said this, and I'll say it again. With GJ you will make $1 million trading off of GJ with small lots if you can hold a trade from 130 to 145. Because the pound will recover back into the 140 range. Because remember, the only reason why we're this low with GJ or any of the pound pairs is because of the fact that there's instability in the economy. Once stability comes back, trade will come back, all this information will come back that will drive the pound back up to the normal range. Because we're not in a normal range right now. So once we get back up there, it'll be, you can go from probably 130 to 140 easily. And then once you're in that range of 140, it'll probably bounce around from like 140 to 145. And, sometimes it'll spike up to 149, but then it'll drop back into like the 140 to 145 range. So really with GJ, once we get above 130, I'll be heavily involved in looking at GJ, because then that means that fundamentally there's corrections happening and there's a good opportunity. So once GJ hits 130, I have a price alert on my MT5 for 130. Once it hits 130, game over. Like I'll be on that. That'll be the trades. I think probably in September, that'll be our trades. Will be all GJ. Just like it was all gold over the summer, it'll be all GJ at that point.
September.
Yeah.
Yeah, the monthly rejection is also very, very cool.
Yeah, and almost the same price.
Yep.
I don't think institution is 130 is an institutional number, but if you look on the higher time frames, 130 is a clear path. Once we get up to 130 on the weekly, it's like a very clear path up, because we've had those massive weekly candles that have pulled down and the daily candles have pulled down. So those all have to be corrected. But what we have at that area is we don't really have any traffic. So when you like Rakil's showing right now, if you turn around and you take a look at this flash crash wick, that's, oops, I'm on my laptop right now, so I apologize. When you look at this level here, and then essentially all this here, that has to be filled. So that's why I'm saying, if you look on the weekly, more than likely once we break into that level, you're going to have, like obviously candles doing this or whatever, and then basically on their way up. But because you have nothing over here, really, you should have a clear path all the way up in the long term. I don't think this will happen in a day or a week, but over the coming weeks, you'll probably just have bullish momentum up, and then obviously you'll have a little bit of an exhaustion with a bearish candle, sort of what we did when we went down. See, like a candle like this here, when we were going down, we were still dropping, right? And you can see that. So the same thing will happen on our way up. But when we have momentum, we don't have to worry about that one single bearish or that bullish candle on the daily when we were going down. It'll be the same thing on the weekly. You might find that 1 week we might have a bit of a breather where you have an exhaustion or a bearish candle on the weekly, but that won't signify price dropping at that point. It'll just be a breather at that point. And if you're smart and you get in early, you can ride yourself through that breather, and it'll be a very good swing trade. But once again, that's only once we have a fundamental change in what direction Brexit is in.
Man, sometimes people, when they communicate, they message on Slack, then they'll message on Instagram, and then they'll send an email. And then you're confused, okay, like, what's happening? What do you want done first? Same as GU, GJ, GA, GCAD. Yep, everything's ranging. There is no trade so far. EJ's also on support. You don't like anything. Because when I look left here, when I look at these candles here, these candles came down and they rejected support and went back right up. And now these candles did this again, like in pre-London. So there's something in the bushes waiting. This week hasn't been as eventful as last week. Let's put it that way. This week has just been meh.
Yes, because the next week.
Yeah. Oh shit. Oh. Hope YouTube doesn't ban me for sound effects. Dun, 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 dun. Best way is to identify support resistance and then write a range right between them and then just wait. That's the best way to go about trading right now. The only thing moving is Euro GBP, but I don't trade Euro GBP. You know, that's the most important part, because once your pairs are ranging, and then as soon as you start looking somewhere else, then you're setting yourself up for failure. You just gotta stick to your guns. Wait.
Generally, that's what happens. You know, you have a good last couple of good weeks, and then 1 week all the pairs doesn't move. Then your itchy finger doesn't let you stop trading.
Exactly.
So that's where you need to, we need to actually stop and just, as Ted says and you says, put your hand under your asses.
Yeah, the itchy finger.
Very hard game.
Very hard, man. Very hard, bro. I mean,
Good morning.
hey, good morning, Alex.
How are you guys?
Good. You're wearing a hoodie in Miami.
Yes, always. It's 50. I keep my AC at 55.
Oh, wow. It's cold there then.
Yes, Canada style, baby.
55. You're really racking up that AC.
My building has a free AC. I don't pay for the AC.
Very nice. Yeah, keep mine at 68.
Oh, nice. Well, hey, might as well do one up. 69, baby.
No. Gets too cold. Gets too cold.
What do you mean? 69
Oh
is
yeah.
hotter.
No, 69 gets too warm. No, I can't.
Oh.
And 67 gets too cold, so it has to be 68.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
You're in any trade?
No, I took a GJ sell earlier on, but I closed it at -7 pips.
Oh.
And-
UCAT closed back in the range of yesterday before that drop.
Bro, check this out. I closed it at 7 pips and then it ran up. Wow, holy shit, 30 pips.
Well, I see, because you liked how that 15-minute, 30-minute formed resistance there.
Yeah, because I was like, okay, 30 minutes bearish. There's some range here down to, 128.880, so it's going to probably head down. And, as soon as it broke the high of the 15-minute candle, I was like, yeah, I'm going to get out and wait. And
Smart.
as I closed, it just went against
Yeah,
me.
look at that candle. Sheesh, you closed right on time.
Yeah. Hope no one held. Ooh, EJ's breaking. EJ's the only thing that's heading down. EJ, EU.
GCAT just consolidated London. Whack.
Yeah, still consolidating.
Yep.
Good morning, Richard.
Good morning,
Morning.
Burner.
Good morning, Alex.
Did you sleep? Nah.
No, not yet.
Sleep is for the dead.
Yeah.
Bless me. Oh wow, is GG moving up? What a reversal. Holy. 4 hours reversing all the way. Are we going to continue up here in GJ? We gotta wait. Or should I have a buy stop at 129,450? That should work out, 129,450. Because daily just went down. The first half of the daily. The second half is now continuing up. So it needs to break above 129, 400.
Yeah, to be honest, this week has been very difficult to trade.
Garbage.
Not in the sense that there's been heavy news or things that have changed the market. It's just the market is not the ranges that the market we're in that we normally trade off of. They were too tight, and you really had to you had a little bit less of a forgiveness when you were entering and exiting trades.
Yep.
Yeah, it seems more choppy this week.
Yeah, and I don't know what it was, but it even for me, like when I was trading, like I navigated, and it was actually pretty difficult to navigate in terms of knowing when to exit, especially with gold, because gold had such a tight range, and it was really respecting that range. Like as soon as it hit a number, it pulled right back like hard. So it was very, very, very tough.
Yeah, the breaks tended to be pretty small, I think.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
breaks really continued, especially, I think it was, what is it, 15.05, I think? Something like
Yeah, and then as soon as it like hit 15.05, it dropped to like 15.01 in 1 minute.
that. Good time.
Yeah.
It wasn't very prolonged, it kind of just tiny little move and that was it.
Yeah, I think everything is going to range for the rest of the week. Next week should be good because I think we've had the exhaustion that we need this week in terms of pullback to continue trend next week, I think, with everything.
Yep. Even if you look on all the daily candles on all JPY pairs, they're all just in a straight line. Jackson Hole meeting. I wonder what's Jackson Hole meeting. Ooh, it's in Wyoming. Seems like a cult meeting. Economic Policy Symposium meetings.
Yeah, my calendar was telling me that was last night. I was wondering what that was about.
Ooh, Feds will try to trigger carnage. Seems like all the powerful rich people are meeting for something.
So you're gonna be there?
No, I think that collides with my Area 51 meeting there. I wonder how's that How's that going? Have people started to make camps there yet, or what's happening there with Area 51?
When was that supposed to be? Is it past now?
Yeah, since September the 20th. Yeah. They got merchandise on and everything.
I've got a flat Earth meeting that day.
Yeah, we're probably going to find that the Earth is flat in Area 51. Gold should continue down to 1493. Still got some room.
Who is powerhouse in Canada? It's like politically.
Pretty hard to say.
If it was easy, then I would have googled it.
Looking for bullish close above 1.6 to go further. Yeah, this makes sense. This makes perfect sense. Because once it breaks above, I was also looking at the same thing here. There's this resistance right here where it might head to. So this clean candle down here and this resistance here. What is that meaning? Can someone explain? Yes, Google it. I just Googled it and I found out. And I know what that is. So you need to Google it.
There's going to be a very, very good opportunity with Euro Pound very shortly. We're at a very, very heavy support on the daily. We've bounced off of it several times. So if we do drop, we have a clean drop all the way down to 0.90240. So that's going to be a good move if you trade the Euro Pound. We have a nice area if we do break that support right now that we're at, that it's going to have a clean drop. So if you trade Euro Pound, I would set a price alert right now for around
800 zone.
Yeah, exactly, like 98.80. That's what I set the price alert for. So once we break that and we get confirmation of another candle, you might find that we're going to drop all the way down to like 92.78. Now that correlates with the pound gaining strength. So if there's more positive news related to the pound, and you see like I would say, and this is a good discussion point. If you see GJ moving up or GU moving up, like I would say maybe GU more than anything, that means that EG should move down. Reason being is when we look at the currency strengths, and once again, this is just subjective, this is what I've done in my head to keep everything straight in my head, is I've assigned weighting values. So US dollar being very strong, pound being very strong, euro being strong, CAD semi-strong, and then the Japanese yen weak, right? And you can also say AUD, USD, or AUD and NZD are a little weaker too. When we see that the pound is gaining strength and we have other stronger currencies losing strength or gaining weakness, then that will push these pairs, especially like a GU or a EG, it will push it in favor of the pound. So just keep that in mind. And as we watch GJ fly up, EG should start to drop a little bit more, but it's going to be hard to break this support. If it does, that's a huge trade. So I'd just be willing to watch. If you're looking to swing it, I think your stops have to be right now above like 91,439, because you have to be able to play within that range on the daily. But once it does drop past 98,880 or even 800, you've got a clean drop to like the 300s at that point. So that's a 50 pip drop. which is easy. Money.
For kind of guaranteed, I think. There.
Right. Yeah, so that's easy money when it does do that.
Today, actually, in a way, because Boris is doing a lot of talks today in France with the Prime Minister and stuff.
Yeah, because didn't France already say that? What did they say? They don't care about Brexit, or?
Yeah, basically, yeah. And it shouldn't cause any kind of issue at all between UK and France, anyway. But yeah, it looks like there's positivity coming out of it so far. And they're having a meeting right now, I think.
Okay.
Are you waiting for the account to close before GJ buy? No. Already in it. He's just still ranging. What's the reason for GJ? I believe it's going to continue moving. I got an early entry and went in profit, so that's good. Put stops at break even, and I think it's going to continue moving. This candle is going to close in the next 10 minutes. So if that candle is closing above all these candles here to the left, these ones here, so then GJ has a much higher chance to continue. Oh shit, yeah, see, it has a much higher chance to continue till 129.550 even, which it's approaching right now. So it's pretty good. What convinced you to take the buy? I just thought it's going to continue moving up. It couldn't move down, so next thought was, okay, it should continue up. What's this? Oh, 20 pips.
Yeah, if the buy based on, if you go based on the hourly, Rakil, you'll see that was an easy buy. If you go to the hourly chart, you have your target that you've launched out. So you also know that all this area here, these areas here are being filled. So if you were watching on the hour, as soon as we broke above this level here, it was an easy buy, and more than likely the target will probably end up over here. You'll finish over here. I just closed for 12 pips.
Yeah, I wanted to have a buy stop, like I talked about it, like 129.350, but I was like, might as well enter early.
Yeah, so that was actually pretty good. And if you go to the 5-minute candles, the 5-minute candles told the story as well. If you used, you basically had this candle here. Sorry, give me a second. This candle here, remember we talked about that because it's in momentum, it has to be filled. And then this was your candle that basically filled it, plus more. So it was a pretty easy setup at this point, and we're driving towards the end of the half hour on the hourly, so now we'll have a little bit of an exhaustion. But that's what you're looking at. And if people don't get these trades, and if they miss these trades, it's because you're not normally trading that pair, so you're not looking at the time frames to pick out an entry and an exit. So when people ask what was your reasoning, right away I know that you don't normally trade that pair, so you're not looking out for the characteristics of that pair, and you didn't see the market structure. If you saw the market structure, you would see that on the 5-minute, 15-minute, 1 hour time frame, they were all going positive or bullish. And if you look at your hour time frame, we had a target to the upper part where Rakil has that shaded area, and it should hit there. But with that impulse spike with GJ, normally what ends up happening is that is the like that if that goes that hard that fast, you can usually close for 10 or 12 pips, and then it'll pull back like 5 or 6 pips. So that's what I did. I ended up closing once we got the 10 pips. I'm pretty sure we're gonna, if we hit up there, that's fine. But the impulse move with GJ, I like to exit after that pulse up, and you can see now it's come to that target.
Oh, holy fuck! GG.
Right, there you go, a little bit more. So there you go. Nicely done.
That was my trade for the day. The best way to study a pair is to just look at, because like I've seen GJ do this a lot of times. Nice.
Great work, Gil.
Very nice.
Hello.
Hello.
And if you look at EG is doing exactly what I said that GJ is doing right now.
Two dropped.
Watching that carefully.
You know what, Ted? When you were talking about EG,
That's why you said GJ.
That's why I said, okay, you know what? The GG is going to go up because that's when it's going to drop.
Yeah, because you have two pairs, like you have the euro and the pound, which are considered in relative speaking terms very strong currencies, right? They're very, very, very prominent currencies. So when you have like a GJ where you have the pound being very strong and GJ, the yen, being very weak, GJ will always move a lot harder than say EG. So when EG is moving hard, GJ, the move is like exponential. Like it'll be like 5 or like, I don't want to say 5 or 10x because people will start doing the math, but I'm just saying it's basically watching the Yankees play like the Tampa Bay Rays, or like your favorite football team playing like the shittiest football team. Like that's what GJ is, right?
I'll say the moves are nearly double though.
Mm-hmm.
I see a similar movement as today, pre-London and the New York session, like the last Friday, August 16th. On the pre-London session, you went up and came down quick and reached to 117.16. And on the New York session, came right back up on 10 o'clock, 118.16 from 117.57. And right now, like today, the pre-London, it went up quick and dropped quick, just like last Friday.
Bobby, I like your explanations, but you need to show a chart, so because like people don't know what you're talking about.
Where's the?
Yeah, you need to throw a chart and then annotate it.
Yeah, speak to the chart, because people can barely understand how to trade, so they're not going to be able to understand what's in your head.
Check out YouTube.
Because I know what you're saying. I know exactly what you're talking about. Came down 118, 17. I know all those numbers. Oh, see, GJ tapped that area and then bounced down. Can you go over GJ Sal Raja, please? Why would I go over a trade that was a loss? It's done. You know, I want to go over the trade that I won. That's the trade I want to go over.
Anybody took gold cells?
Nope.
Yeah, I was on gold sales from this morning, just before London, from 98, about nearly 99.
Hey, Rakil.
Hey.
Hey, bro, can you explain the GJ buy that you
you took. I went to get some breakfast.
Yeah.
And I came back and the shit moved.
Yeah, so basically, first I was in cells, right, and the cells weren't working out. So I looked at it holistically, and I saw, well, okay, GJ is making support here, move up, okay, whatever. And then Ted was talking about how, you know, EG can be a good trade to fall down a daily level and bearish. So I was like, okay, you know what, makes sense. If EG could head down, then GJ obviously will head up. So I started to look at GJ 15 minute. I looked at the 15 minute and I'm like, okay, well, if this 15 minute is finishing bullish, right, then there's a high chance that the next one can pop out and the one after that can do a retest to continue up. So I was like, okay, so if I take a buy at around 129, 290, I can have a stop at, what's this price here? Thank you. I can have a stop down over here below this 15-minute candle, right? Because like as long as prices stay above it, it should continue up or pop up and make a, you know, whatever, like a retest and move up. So that was my whole bias, but it went up faster than I anticipated, which is also good because now I'm done.
Yeah, that seems legit. Nice trade, Raja.
Yeah.
I took the same loss as you, and man, that shit went back up.
Yeah, it went up too fast. You know, like I'm not gonna lie, it just went up.
Yes, I'm glad that I had a stop loss, and man, it doesn't matter. You know,
Yeah.
I'm learning. I'm still learning by watching. You know. So
Yeah.
thank you, Raja, for the explanation.
Yeah, but like watching GJ for 2 years, this is now come down to instinct.
Yes, I've been noticing some kind of movements. Like I'm now training now for a year, and well, I keep learning, you know. So thank you, Raja.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Yeah, the other thing is too, guys, you have to understand that if we're scalping, you have to be able to tell the story. So this is what I try and explain to everybody is the candles are always going to tell a story. You take a bird's eye view of what's happening in the market, and then what you're doing is you're breaking it down to smaller sections of that market. And you know that there's always going to be these impulsive moves, as we call it. And then, you know, exactly the conversation Raja just had here with Juan was more of just like, okay, Raja got the trade, but Juan didn't get the trade. So there was a couple of variables there that would have allowed Juan to get the trade. First of all, he would have had to be in front of his computer. So that's a key thing. But second of all, it's the understanding of what is happening in the market based on previous actions of the market. So if we look right now, Raja's got the 30-minute chart open, right? So we have the 30-minute chart open, and you look at what happened previously. There's a support right at the bottom where we have that grayed area. That's almost like a support. You can see how strong that support is because we have the 30-minute candle push all the way up. So if I'm looking now at that 30-minute candle, what I have to do now is I have to move into the hourly candle and see how that previous hour finished off. You can see right away from the 30-minute candle right here that the hour finished with a little bit of a pullback at this point right over here. So we know that that was essentially a 30-minute resistance. With that being said, there's nothing here in terms of this candle body to say that there was going to be a rejection. Like, why can't I show this stuff here? This arrow, this candle here, there's nothing telling me in that price level that there's going to be rejection. Because if we had rejection, our candle would look similar to this, or our candle would look similar to this, right? So now that we know that, the other hint that we have is last time we really pushed off that, and we actually had, you know, essentially candles that looked like we were actually pulling away. So they had wicks along the bottom to pull off. So putting that information together, you can now make a hypothesis, and you can make it, what a hypothesis is, if you don't understand, is an educated guess. You can say, based on the information that I have here, something should be happening towards the upside. And, you know, Chris talked a little bit about, you know, there could be positive information coming from these discussions with Boris Johnson. So you keep that in the back of your head. You look at the overall daily time frames, the last 3 days, there's been rejections at the bottom levels, and we haven't broken them. So momentum is more to the upside than there is to the downside. Then take that into fact to say that, hey, the previous hour candle pushed up, so now we're going to probably try and fill that wick. But once we do fill that wick, I'm dropping now into my shorter time frames to see why we're going to fill that information and how that information is going to work and where are my targets on my shorter time frames. So essentially your first target on your shorter time frame would be essentially this area here. This would be your shorter target right away. That would be your target, because what you're saying is there's a bunch of rejections at that level. We should easily get there. Now, understanding the characteristics of GJ, you know GJ, first of all, the spread is a little bit wider. You're at probably a 1.6 to 1.8 pip spread with GJ, but we also know the characteristics of GJ, that GJ can move 3, 4, 5, 6 pips in one 5-minute candle. So you know that as well. So what you're doing then is you're saying to yourself, okay, based on that information, based on where we are in the timing, I know that we're driving to a certain price point. And the candle that gave that away is your previous 30-minute candle. That previous 30-minute candle, as it's starting to close, is now driving towards a price point. So similar to what Rakil was saying in terms of, where's my notes? I don't have the notes. Oh, there it is. Shit. My laptop's a piece of shit. I just lost my train of thought. Yeah, but my mouse isn't moving.
Oh, you're on your laptop?
Yeah. Yeah, my office is getting redone, so. Alright. Oh shit, now it's catching up to everything. I think I've got like way too many things running. But this is a Surface Pro. I don't understand why it's not allowing me to open up like 30 windows. Anyway, so as I was saying, that when you jump into those previous candles, the 5-minute candles, then when you look at where we've moved through, that 5-minute candle or the next 10-minute candles before the 30-minute close are driving toward a specific price. So as you're watching the shorter time frames, you can start to see where price is starting to move at that point.
Hey, Rakil.
Hey.
We got some big CAD news Friday. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. Would you have to wait for the daily candle on Thursday and to get your bias for news, or can you look at it now and see yesterday if you're going to think it's bullish or bearish?
No, I'll have to look at it how it ends, and then look at it at New York session.
Okay, by Friday. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Friday's big for CAD news, bro. Last month, the candle for GCAD and UCAD moved like 80 pips.
Yeah, Friday's gonna be good. Hey Ted, I have a question. Where's Ted? Oh, he's not. If someone knows, what are these destination tags like when you send and receive crypto? How important are these destination tags?
What's that, when you send and receive funds?
Yeah.
I'm not sure, I'm not seeing that.
Yeah, I guess.
Is that a new thing that you have to do?
I don't know. I don't know.
I do a lot of crypto. I've never heard of that before. I'm not saying I'm an expert, but I've never heard of a destination tag. It's just the address, and then sometimes you can put a note, and then you can put your name or the account number or whatever in the note. But as far as, is that what you're talking about, Rakil?
Yeah. So I'm trying to deposit crypto, and it says, please make sure to include the destination tag, or your transaction will be lost.
I think that's just the address. I think. No?
Yeah. I don't want my money being lost, man. No.
I think that's the address where it's going to.
Yeah.
The two things I've experienced with the crypto sending is the actual address itself. And there's 3 types of addresses, right? Legacy, and then there's 2 other ones. One starts with a 1, one starts with a 3, one starts with a different heading. And then the other thing is the note. The note, you can put like an account number, or you can put your name, or both. So those are the 2 things that I've come across as far as crypto. Not an expert, but that's my experience.
No, I agree. That's the same for me.
Oh, okay.
So you normally get a warning if you put the address in incorrectly. That's tough. You lose your money. It will go to wherever.
Alright, trying to deposit via XRP here. Let's see how well this works. Maybe destination tag is like a tag that's gonna get deposited to a specific account. Maybe that's
the account address you're going to send it to already, like a code.
Yeah.
That should be enough. I would have thought.
Probably. I have no idea. Oh, gold looks like it's heading to 1493.
Oh, man.
Oh shit! It's just
just closed.
just dropped.
Oh, would you believe? I literally.
Yeah. Yeah, we actually talked about 1493 when we came on the stream this morning.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. I didn't think it was going to make it, to be fair. I was watching it in the last. I think it was the. What was it? 15?
Yeah. Someone here in the stream actually said that their exact words was, and I quote, "Gold is in a bearish trend. I'm trying to buy right now."
Yeah.
Those were their words.
Yeah, 1493, going down a little bit more.
Yeah, this 15 went back up to like 96 and a half, and I closed it like, well, I think it's about 96, and I thought, oh, that'll do, that's plenty. But
Hey Ted, I have a
good chance that could just quickly turn around the way it's been going this week.
This destination tags, are these the tags connected to the account?
I would have thought where you're sending it to, yeah. I would have thought it's the address tag, because you have like a code you have to input. What platform are you using to send?
I'm not sure. Someone's trying to send me crypto, and it's going into the account. So I have the address, and then I have the destination tag.
Yeah, send it to the wallet address.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like I'll start hoarding crypto now on the brokerage.
Wow, that gold just really bounced hard off of that 1493.
Yeah, we kind of got that one spot on.
Yeah.
Have you looked at EG, Ted?
Yeah, EG ripped all the way back again.
Right.
So it's exactly what we're talking about. That's why we have to wait for those levels to break, because as soon as it taps that region, it pulls back hard. And it was the same thing with gold. As soon as gold tapped that region, it ripped right back. Like it's almost on command now. Like they're not giving you any forgiveness. Like once you tap that region, there's a huge rip right back. So that it's getting pretty scary, actually. I mean, when I talk about a lot of times when people talk about trading, we talk about trading, and it's like, how do you adapt to the market? It's like now when you're entering a zone, I'm actually super cautious going into these zones now, because it seems like all the algorithms are really programmed to tap that area if there's massive rejections on the higher time frame and just rip right back to stop you out. Because I think retail traders are getting somewhat smarter, right? Because like if you look at what we do every day, we find a zone and we tap it right away, right? As soon as it taps. And then it seems like if you don't get out, it rips right back. Like over the last 2 weeks, we've called so many trades to a particular zone, and as soon as it hits that zone, it rips right away. So this is part of you as a retail trader. This is adaptation now. And it's like I'm super scared every time we come towards the zone, because it just seems like as soon as we tap that level, and if it's on the daily, even the 4 hour or the weekly, you're just going to get ripped right back out. Like it's actually pretty scary. It's making it very, very difficult to swing.
I find, especially the last 2 weeks, it's kind of been no runners worked at all. Near enough, everything's kind of been hit out. Nearly every single one. I've managed to bank on some, but then obviously the runner I've left has kind of been killed off nearly straight away. Yeah, that's definitely changed the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, because usually what happened would be when you got to a major zone, it would sort of hang around there. Like 6 months ago, when we got to a major zone, you know, like I wish the other YouTube, you know, we could show the other. There were times like on the Mixer and the Twitch streams where you sort of had forgiveness. Like you were able to hit that zone and it would sort of bounce around.
Well, you kind of get like a separate mini range, wouldn't you?
That's right. Yeah, there would be like a small little area, but it wouldn't pull back right away like that. Like there wouldn't be a 1 minute candle that rips right back the other way.
No way. No.
It would be like a 5 minute candle that would slowly start to pull away, and you would be like, oh yeah, we're rejecting that level. Not shit, we just rejected it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot tighter at the minute.
Some crypto brokers use the same location for all their client transactions. Yeah, my brokerage, we don't do that because we know that trick. we have wallets recycling all the time.
Oh yeah, that's why after every like deposit, like the address changes.
Yeah, for protection and security.
It'll be a new one each time, really.
Yep, it produces a new one. I mean, technically speaking, the old wallet may still exist, but it might not, and if it doesn't exist, it just rejects at that point.
And that age, 1 hour, is just mad.
Yeah.
Well, it said it's so accurate, because that's like nearly to the exact perfect point on the 4 hour price level in the zone, the rejection level. It's just near enough exact.
Yeah, now gold's come right back and tapped that again.
Yeah, I'm convinced of that at the minute. I'm going to be so annoyed if that goes through. I was thinking, like, I didn't think we'd see it today, but 85 was far off in my head, but I thought it's going to get to about where it is now and fly back up.
Wow, what's happening on? Look at GPCAD and GU. Wow.
I wonder if Boris just said something actually.
Crazy.
I wonder how many people entered buys and then got butt fucked.
Yeah, the only thing you can't do on gold is buy. You can't buy gold right now.
No.
You have to wait for it to turn bullish to buy. His traders remain available for North of Africa.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't trust gold. Like, I think if you're in a trade, if you got in a trade on this candle and you're holding, that's great. But as a trader looking at this trade, I don't like it. Like, if you got in on the 15-minute candle or the 5-minute candle even, you probably have a good position, but yeah, I don't think it's a very scary spot. Even. So congratulations to those who took that trade and took that sell. I will sit on the sidelines and wait for further confirmation.
Say what's giving you concern, Ted, or what causes you to
just look at what we have right now in the 4 hour. So look at the screen that Raquel has up right now, and you can see rejections everywhere in that range. So where Raquel's drawn that support line, even before that, there's massive rejections everywhere. And the tendency with gold, obviously, once again, is when it hits a certain level, it pulls back very, very hard. So I don't want to be in a position where we're going to be in a massive pullback. So like I said to people, if they got in on this hour candle or previously, that's a really good trade because you were driving to this level and you achieved it. It's just right now when you look to the left, there's way too many points of rejection, and I don't want to play the guessing game of where I think price is going to go at this point.
The same kind of price action you saw with EJ, where it just touched a support and just flew off. So
that's right. Yep. So if you're in the trade, congratulations. But if you're looking at trying to trade gold right now, it's not very clean.
So a bit between now and 96 is kind of
yes. And if you do get those sells, if it drops to whatever to the next price level, it will be a very, very quick drop, and you really have to be on the ball, and you have to have I think you'll probably get stopped out more times than you'll get that 20 or 30 pips, just because of the fact that we're at a very, very hard support. Obviously, the next hour, so if you looked at this and you said, okay, the next hour, you would maybe want to say, if the candle forms like this, maybe you have, a drop potentially like that. So the candle rejects up a bit and then continues down. You may have opportunities to fill these wicks. Sorry, I'm on my laptop. But at this point, I'm scared of doing that because, once again, in the back of my mind, fundamentals are very, very negative towards the U.S. So I don't know why we have this drop. If there's change in fundamentals, then I would say, yeah, the drop makes sense.
Perfect mirror. I think we're going to go back up. So you can see further left that this kind of place where it's going to come back up from, and then
yeah, that's all.
Oh shit! What's this? Oh. Yeah, I mean, if you see this chart here, you can see that we can't see anything, so sorry. I think G just going to continue moving here. It's going to fill that wick. How a new trader should train themselves to tell a story in the live market. You need to come at the live market at the same time every day and watch how things formulate every day. People who've been following us since last year, they are now somewhat successful in reading the market because they've been coming here at the same time every day for New York session.
Gold is finally going down. Oh.
Do you guys look at US oil? Nope. You can send a chart and we can take a look at US oil.
Akil, you spelled it wrong.
Trades, trads. Trads.
Some good trads today.
Alright, there's spelling police. G-A gold head and shoulder. Gold head and shoulder. Where's it? Looks like a dislocated shoulder if you ask me. It's buying. It's buying crude oil. Oh, interesting. be nice to have a retest on GJ. Well, if you're looking at GJ, all you got to see is where your stop is going to be, right? You can have your stop below at like 129.350 and aim for the wick fill. So now if you measure that wick fill, it's like 20 pips. You know, so you might get like 15 pips, 10, 15 pips, and your stop is going to be what, 10 pips below the wick. You know, but if you want to be super safe, you can wait 7 minutes for the 30-minute candle to close, and then you can expect the next one to continue moving bullish. That's if you want to be super safe. Do you think gold might go to 1480? Yes. The way gold is moving, once gold breaks below 14, I'd say 1490, it's going to go down to 1480. It's got to break below 1490 to go to 1480. Nice time to buy gold to 1508. Opinions.
Do it.
Alright, take a look at this. Okay, so weekly is bearish, daily is bearish, 4 hour is bearish, 1 hour is bearish, 30-minute is bearish, 15-minute is...
Die.
15-minute is actually opening bullish. So, I mean, you have a nice idea that it's at support, but you need the candles to flip in your direction first before you can buy.
Yeah, people make this mistake all the time. This is the situation where there's no trade. If you're in a sell already, congratulations, hold your sell. But if you're looking to take a trade, there's not enough confirmation to enter. This is the mistake that all new traders make, is they see that we're at support, or they see that we're at resistance, or they see the trend is down on gold, and now they're trying to sell support. But then at the same time, it doesn't mean that it's a buy because it's at support. Like, get used to understanding that when you hit a certain level, we're at a crossroads, that there is no decision yet until we either break this level or we rise above the level. You have to sit and wait now. This is the patience waiting game. You have to get used to that, because Rakil just said every time frame is shooting down. So then you say, oh, we should take a sell. But if you look at where we are, we're at a major support. And then it's like, oh, we should take a buy then. No, there's no confirmation of a buy, but there's also no confirmation of a continued sell. This is where you have to sit back and just wait.
This is trading now. You've got to sit and wait.
Yeah, that's exactly what trading is. Right now, we're waiting for the market to show us direction.
I think this is the part of trading a lot of people don't get.
No, they don't. Because what they do is they see support, and then they're like, oh, well, it's at support, so it means it's a buy now. It's like, no, it doesn't mean that at all. Oh, it's going down. It's a downtrend, Ted, so we have to sell. It's like, no, you have to sit and you have to understand where the sell opportunity was. And this is where you backtest and you say to yourself, where was the sell opportunity? The sell opportunity was all over here. That was your sell opportunity. Look at where we are right now. There is no sell opportunity at this point here. You need confirmation that this particular movement is going to continue. This particular movement. Oh, shit.
Oops, phone call.
Yeah, so like I said, just be aware of that particular area and wait to see how the price reacts around that area. That is your key, and that is trading.
Forex Ed guy bought gold. Very nice. Good luck.
So now there's questions about, well, when would be a buy confirmation? Well, just all you have to do is look to the left. Where on the left did we see opportunities to say that we were rejecting that area to go up? There's opportunity here, there's opportunity here. So maybe you have to wait for the same ideas over in this section over here. That's all trading is, right? And you can say to yourself, if I see candles now moving back in this direction here, maybe there's an opportunity for me to buy. That is trading. That is how you understand trading from a fundamentally simplistic standpoint of, if I want to take buys, what is my risk? So obviously your risk is going to be over here somewhere. You're gonna have a risk over here of somewhat, because if we break this support and we continue down, then you're gonna get stopped out. But if we don't, then where are our opportunities then afterwards to buy? So maybe it's gonna be up over here, back up to maybe this level over here, right? And this is where what you would do is you'd map out your resistance level, right? You can say that this area right over here for the most part is a resistance level. You'd have your support level, and you say, if this level does not break, then I have confirmation of candle rejection similar to this or similar to this, then I will buy back up to this level over here, because I see where there's rejection and where we decided to move back down. And this will be my stop loss over here, this area here, and that's what I would do. That is trading. From a simplistic standpoint, that is trading. That is what you do every day. And if you do that every day confidently and with enough patience, you're successful about 90% of the time. And the thing is here, all you're doing on this hour chart is then what you would do is you turn around and you drop into your 5-minute, your 15-minute. You would start to see if there's rejection, candles moving the opposite way, and then you plan your risk. Some people would enter on a 5-minute candle rejection. Some people need an hour candle rejection. So it's your comfort level and how much exposure do you want to have to that risk that will determine if it makes sense or not for you to turn around and take a buy position at this point. But for me personally, there is no trade because we don't have confirmation of rejection. But at the same time, we don't have confirmation that the trade is going to continue to run down because we're right at a key level. So we have to wait maybe for a 15-minute candle or an hour candle close to say, hey, we're going to drop, and then map out another level for us to drop to.
So anyone buying right now is probably sweating.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Well, Egypt went up. GG's up. Wow.
Oh, Joe sent a chart. Let's take a look at this. GA. If this candle formed a long wick X more than 3 times the body after conclude, can we go short but stop loss will be U? Yes, that's correct. So let's take a look at this. GA. You got GA. You got GA closing under resistance. So if you're looking for shorts, oh yeah, I think your stop, if you're looking for stop, your stop should be at 79,700. You know, that's above the previous 30-minute candle. But at the same time, I think you got this support right down over here. You got another mini support that's at, I don't think it's that much of a clean price action, to be honest. 4 hours just in the middle. Yeah, I wouldn't try to take a trade. I know you don't like arrows, but the mirror image is perfectly clear on gold. Oh yes. See now, for GJ to continue bullish, it shouldn't break the low of the previous 30-minute candle. That's the basic fundamentals of candles moving in a trend, that they will keep making higher highs and higher lows. So this was a higher low, this is another higher low, so this candle should make a higher low by not breaking the low of the previous candle, and then you could say, oh yeah, look, we could probably fill this wick up there. GA is in this range.
There's a question here. Somebody has a question. But that is my question. How do you know if it gets rejected, it will go all the way back up and not just a pullback and break down the previous support? Well, so Whitney Houston phrased this very easily, is how do I know if he really loves me? So this is another thing that I'm working on, is how do I know if I'm going to get rejected from support or resistance? You have to assign a risk value with that rejection. That is trading. So when you turn around and you say, how do I know if this is a retest or this is a break or this is a fake out? We don't know. And anybody who tells you as a trader that they know are lying to you. What you are doing is, when people say that this is like, if Raja says this is a rejection of support, Raja is basing his rejection of support based on his knowledge of probability of seeing that rejection happen so many times based on previous chart information. So this is you as a trader, you have to do the exact same thing. You have to say to yourself, hey, we're at a 4-hour support or a daily support. How many times have I seen this reject? And am I comfortable with the risk of taking a position that we're going to move up at that point if we do reject this level? If you're not comfortable, you have to wait for other candles to form to say that, yes, I have a comfort now. This is what I like to see because I've traded this enough to say that this makes sense to me when I see a rejection. That is you as a trader understanding and experiencing the market to say that, yes, I agree with my confluence right now, because over the last 1,000 trades, every time I've seen 3 or 4 15-minute candles reject the zone, I know that we're going up to the previous price level. Some people can say, hey, I know off a 4-hour candle, if we reject, I can take a trade off the 5-minute candle because I know we're going to reject pretty hard off of the 4-hour candle, and that will allow us to get me some pips. And it's also now defining where is your range. Where, if, as an example, if you're looking at gold right now and you're saying gold is a rejection, well, where is gold going to be rejecting to? And are you comfortable with your risk versus your reward of that rejection? That is your key. You can't turn around and say, well, how do I know? It's not how do you know, it's how have you planned out this trade for it to work out in terms of risk and in terms of reward. That is how you will know. There's no, because if there was a set criteria to say every time we hit 4-hour support, we're going to reject and we're going to go back like 30 pips or 20 pips, then my question to everybody would be, well, why don't we all sit around, wait for 4-hour support to be hit, and then empty the clip on that trade, like full margin it and take a win every single time? That's all we would have to do. We would have to just show up at every 4-hour support. We could sit for 3 days and we would all sit here and say, hey, once price gets to this number, empty the clip, turn around and full margin. It would take us 3 days or 4 days or a week to get there, but once we got there, you would have 100% win rate. If that was the case, that's what we'd have to do. So every time someone asks the how do we know that this is going to happen, there's no such answer. It's framing the trade and telling yourself a story on, if this price level gets hit, I believe there will be rejection to this level here based on smaller time frames, based on where I look, and this is the risk I'm willing to take to see that that trade gets executed. And if I'm not comfortable with that risk, or I don't feel that there's enough information to make that trade, then there is no trade. So you have to start removing that how do I know with this is what I believe will happen based on this scenario. And if you can't do that, then there's no trade. Because right now, if you took sells, you'd be like, oh, I'm going to take sells to this level, right? It wouldn't be, how do I know I'm taking sells to that level? You would have information. So when you look to say, if we're rejecting, where are we taking buys to? It's the exact same scenario. So that is how you have to frame your analysis. That is how you have to frame your trading. Put information into the charts and make an educated guess based on the previous results you've had doing the same thing over and over again. And that's where your confidence will increase, and that's where you will execute trades specifically to the plan that you're looking for and the specific patterns in the market that you're looking for. And you will become so in tune with just seeing that one idea. And it's the reason why, if you look at Raja has a huge win rate, I have a huge win rate, there's a lot of people who have huge win rates, because we're looking for one specific idea that we are comfortable with, that we have seen scenario after scenario after scenario, that we know that chances are this is going to work the way that it's going to happen. And if you don't see that yet, it just means you haven't had enough time in front of the charts and you haven't executed enough in front of the charts. That's what you have to get used to, is executing more.
Oh, what the fuck? Don't surprise me with these charts, Peter.
Bro, I was about to say the same thing.
I'm looking at this chart, you know, looking at it going up, and all of a sudden I see this, I'm like, whoa!
That looks like an algorithm.
So much information came at me so fast. Yeah, you're right. So we're basically waiting for this to break. Oh yeah, there goes DJ. See, this idea played out perfect. Price making higher highs, higher lows, and you know, whoever took this idea should be in profits.
No one bought gold.
Do you start with fresh chart every day? Yes, every day fresh chart. So when tomorrow comes around, I'm gonna remove all this and I'm gonna like, you know, replot the charts.
Yeah, so if people are looking at GJ right now and they're looking at what Rakil just said, this is an example of where we see opportunities in the market where we have clean structure, right? You can see on the 30-minute candles there was rejection to the downside at 129.300. And what did we have? Now we have a target with this original wick that went up to 129.650. So you'll see on the 30-minute chart, now this candle is driving towards 650, because you can clearly see in this small little section of the chart that price has to return to a particular level. So now you say to yourself, wow, Ted, that was very easy. I understand that clear as day. And I say to you, that is how you trade. When you can fully understand an idea, and you can fully understand that, hey, this is where price is going to be moving to, and you can confidently say that we're going to 650 or 600 or whatever the magical number is based on this range, that is a trade that you would want to execute on. And now you're going to say, well, Ted, did you execute on it? I'll say no, because I already executed on the first attempt that we went up there based on the same idea. So this is what you have to do, is you have to find an idea or a set of rules that you're comfortable with and execute on those rules. And as you execute on those rules, you're going to find that you're going to have a high win rate. And there was someone that asked why other traders don't have a high win rate. It's because they do things for clout and they don't do things with a proper set of rules. So there's a difference. Some people want glamour shots on Instagram, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so when you're looking at GJ, someone sent me a chart. I hope they're on this stream as well watching. This was the resistance, right? The most recent resistance. This was it. This here, this doesn't matter because this is in the past. This is the most recent resistance which this candle broke. And then this was the retest. So if price is moving up it has to make higher highs and higher lows, like we talked about, and then this kind of came down to retest, and then this is the area where the price made a new high, right? And there's a very high chance the price will always come up to retest the new high it created, and this is the retest of that high. Like, there's no way to say if it's going to go all the way up, or is it going to come down in the zone, tap it, and then reject it. So if you're in buys, I mean, this is the target you should be taking, or maybe having a stop set where you can think that, okay, like, what, we've reached the zone where price has rejected before, so I'm gonna secure my profits and have a runner run, because hey, like, the runner can fill this wick, who knows?
Yep.
So
and here's the thing, and I'm gonna say this honestly, and this is the way you have to train your mind, is nobody knows exactly where price is going to go to. And we always talk, and you'll see people talk about, oh, get it to the pip or this. There's a lot of times where we don't get it to the pip. And anybody who says every single time they're taking trades to the pip, they're going to be wrong a lot of times too. And when you look at that kind of analysis, or you look at that kind of rigidness when you're calling trades to an exact pip, you're going to be wrong a lot of times. You have to use common sense and logic, exactly what Raja just pointed out here. There was a trade, we went into that grade area. Anywhere in that grade area is a take profit point. Anywhere just before that grade area, if you're hesitant entering that area, is a take profit point. You have to get used to, as a retail trader, of being humble and just accepting what the market gives you. It's very, very tough, because you've been provided all this crap information out there to say, well, if you don't hold to a take profit point, you're not a good trader. If you don't do this, that you're not a good trader. There's no such thing as that. The only thing that I can tell you is being a good trader is being realistic and honest with yourself, and taking what the market gives you every single day. Take what the market gives you. If the market gives you 6 pips, that's the market. They gave you 6 pips today. Don't force ideas because you're in this bubble or in this logic of, well, this person says if I don't do this, then that's not really trading. That's the most idiotic thing anyone can say to you. That's like saying you're not a good chef because you didn't cook the steak the way I like it. That is such a poor way of thinking, and that will drown you, and that will destroy your account mentally. Because all that's going to happen is you're going to get stuck in this box, and you're going to be trying to solve Forex every single time, and you can't do that. How do you get on our level? It's not getting on levels. It's being humble. It's understanding that the market can destroy you as fast as it can make you. And if you look at the way, like, say, GBP, JPY is happening right now, the target's been achieved. And now you look at that trade and you say, well, how can I have executed that trade? You can see Raja's clearly marked out how that trade would have been executed, and that is where now you understand how clear that movement was. You see how hard it was trending, and it just executed that way. This idea works on all time frames. Just, you have to understand that, you turn around and you have to say that it may take a little bit longer to execute on this idea, right? Hey, Mr. Ted, is this why y'all go normally for 20 pip take profit? No, this is not why we go for 20 pip take profit. We go for profit. We go for take profit points that make logical sense in the market. And then what we do is, as the market continues to move in that direction, you can then expand your take profit points. And you can say, hey, if I move now to the hour chart, where would be my next trade? Where would be my next target? If I move to the 4-hour chart, where will be my next target? And as you move to those higher time frames, you have to logically do deductions, and you have to say to yourself, okay, this hourly target may be a little bit too aggressive or too wide for me, because I don't see GJ moving another 60 pips. So I think that the 30-minute target is a little bit more reasonable. But if I'm already in the trade, I can see right now we're probably going to break out of this zone. I can then turn around and say, hey, okay, perfect. If we're going to break out of this zone, maybe now I want to turn around and I want to extend my take profit point by moving that in the higher or move my stop loss into my trade. Ryan says I should only follow traders with Lambos and cars because that's the only traders that are really making profit. Ted, can you make sense out of this, please? Yes, I can definitely make sense out of that. I have a car that is faster than the Lamborghini, so don't follow me. And I can't fit in a Lamborghini, so therefore I'm a bad trader. So that takes into account that stuff too. Profitable trading is making your system as simple as possible to execute. Yes. What about Euro USD? Is it going to drop or move up? Show a chart. Ted, you should make an audiobook. You can explain things really good and have a good voice. Thank you. I just try and help people, and I only know very simple ways to trade because I'm not a very smart person. I'm not very smart in terms of what I do. I just am a hard worker, and I see things and I look for ways to exploit those areas. So in the charts, I look at how to exploit certain things. Uncle Ted, we gonna have a Forex fam meetup like the one we had in December? Yeah, I've just been super busy with other projects, but I have been thinking about that in the back of my head.
Oh, got a protractor over here, got a protractor inside a protractor. Alright, I think we're gonna kick. Yeah, we're gonna kick you right now. Just joking.
LSD chart, what the damn.
Hey, Peter fixed the chart, so it looks nice now. I like that second chart, Peter, for real.
high are you going to extend your profit target from the initial target? Well, the idea would be you'd have to go onto the higher time frames and you'd have to look at the next levels in zones at that point. So you would have to then go into the hour chart on GJ, right? So we hit the 30-minute target on GJ, essentially. And now when you go to the hour chart, you'd see that the hour chart and the 4-hour chart look all similar. So there's really nowhere that you can extend your take profit point to. Because when you start to look at your 4-hour, your hour, and your 30-minute, there's all these levels at that point. So now, as you zoom out on the 4-hour chart, you'd have to say to yourself, okay, I have to look at the 4-hour or maybe even the hourly chart. And as I zoom out, it's hard for me to find another target at this point. So looking on the 4-hour chart, I could possibly see a target at around, say, 130 at this point. So if I believe that we're going to extend that far, then that's where I put my next target. But the thing is, when you put your target up there, you have to think about what time frame have you just put your target on, and it's based off of the 4-hour. So you know that there's a possibility that it could take a couple of 4-hour candles to reach that target, because once again, it's a little bit of a stretch, but you've mapped out your target based on the higher time frames. So when you're trading, you have to keep that in mind. That's why when we look at charts and people give us charts to look at, they show these massive targets on a 30-minute chart. And it's like, you know how many candles it's going to take to get to that point? So it's the same thing with a 4-hour chart. It's going to take a longer time to get to that point. So you have to be aware of that at that point.
Hey, Rakil.
Hey.
Yeah, I want your opinion on something. Since you like to, you stress to visualize, like candles. Do you visualize a wick fill on the daily UCAD?
UCAD.
Daily, yes. Do you visualize? I visualize it. Do you?
I don't know. Let's take a look here. Let's take a look at the weekly here.
Daily. Okay, well, okay. Look at the weekly.
What?
But I was saying if you see the daily wick fill.
Alright, so weekly is like this, daily wick fill. So basically, weekly, you're expecting to go bearish. Because if weekly goes bearish, that's going to be the daily wick fill.
Yes.
So then when we look on the 4-hour, the 4-hour needs to create a resist. I mean, this 4-hour needs to close bearish for the next one to continue down. And that will be the daily wick fill. Looking on the 1-hour,
looks like it's retesting that minor support.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at here. It's retesting that minor support.
And US just opened, so there's volume. So I'm thinking maybe we have a daily wick fill. I don't know.
So the daily wick fill is 26 pips away from support, like from the low the 1-hour candle is created. Oh, someone sent me one euro and 11 pence. Nice.
I don't know, I'm liking that, but we'll see. This 4-hour candle looks so ugly.
Yeah, there's also news tomorrow too in CAD retail sales.
Yep, that's big, major news tomorrow.
Yeah.
So you're saying it won't fill today, maybe tomorrow?
Probably.
Or just saying keep an eye out?
Probably, I'd say just keep an eye out. There's some USD news coming in as well.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah. There's USD news coming in too. Do you use trailing stops? If so, how would you use it on your method of trading if you're going for 20, have trail every 10? No, I mean trailing stops, again, like when you're trying to trail stops, you're trailing stops above logical levels, right? Let's say if you had an entry on GJ somewhere over here, right? Price moved up, you know, candle formed, this candle formed, and then now you're going to trail your stop below this candle right here, you know, and then this candle is going to close in 3 minutes, and then you're going to trail your stop down over here. So now you have an uptrend, an uptrend is going to create a high, it's going to come down, it's going to create a lower high, right? It's going to go up, it's going to create a higher high, and then it's going to create a lower high, and then it's going to go up, create a higher high. Most people don't understand this, and they open charts, they want to trade. Like, fuck, man, this is basic, like, you know, chart pattern. Lower high, what are the candles here up to? Made a low, they made a lower high, right? And then made a higher high, and then candle made another lower high right over here, lower high, right? And then the candle made another lower high right here, right? So you're trailing stops above these lower highs. Fuck, I should charge you €10 for this. So they made another lower high. So that's where you trail your stops. You can't just say, oh yeah, I'm going to trail my stop at 10 pips right over here. That's not a logical position to have a stop loss. I mean, just look at it. That's not logical at all. So
awesome explanation, like you.
Yeah, you know, so it should be like over here, and over here. So
what up, Paul? Where were you yesterday, bro, for GU?
And I took a day off. I needed some sleep. I only got like
bro.
10 hours of sleep all week, so I needed to.
Yeah, bro. Bodybuilders need their rest.
If closes bearish, should head here. If closes strong bullish, should have to daily resistance. Let's take a look. Yeah, I think now, I mean, 118, 100 is a very strong level, because if you look left, this was support. And I think, yeah, so you're right, Paul. So you want candle to close above here to go up here, but then again, this is in a range. I've been looking at this range for like 2 days now, and all I've been telling myself is that if I'm going to take a trade on EJ, it has to be above 118.250, because if a candle can close above 118.250, I know that it's going to have a very, very easier move going up, because there is this clean traffic, right? If a candle closes in here, I know it's going to have some issues, because, you know, this is like a very, very strong ranging area. These are like mouse traps. Look at this ranging mouse traps. So we're not sure if it's going to, like, you know, go up or range in this area, so I'm staying away from this area.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm only looking for a trade above 118.250, because to me that's going to be a very, very easier position to get into to go up.
Lean right up.
Yeah, same thing happened on GJ. If you look on GJ broke above 129.350, and when you look left on the 1 hour chart, you're like, okay, you know what, there was a clean move that went down, and once the 1 hour is closing above, it should have an easier move going up.
Beast mode, Rakil. You're a beast, bro.
No, man, not a beast at all.
Well, you know your charts, bro.
I think it's like I've just really, really mastered to just wait. To that I can like see like the best possible opportunity, because I kind of want to take a buy on EJ thinking it's going to go up, but then I know myself that, okay, you know what, this is a range. I'm not sure whether it's going to range here or not. So if I take a trade and it loses, then instead of like crying and whining about it, I'm just going to wait for price to come above 118.250 to take the easy trade going up.
Sometimes that's the hardest, like being patient, you know, like FOMO kicks in, and patience is like the reward. You know, if you have patience, winning the trade is the reward for that. You know?
Exactly, because like a lot of times guys are gonna send me charts and they would have taken a trade in the range or not, would have waited, and they'll just keep on bitching and complaining. I'm like, man, like all you have to do was just wait. Seriously, that's all what you have to do. I mean, taking no trade and missing the trade is way better than taking a trade and then just like, oh man, like I don't know, man, it's a range and this and that, you know.
Once again, it comes down to the fact that people that are rushing to take trades have a subconscious rationale for why they're doing that, and it has nothing to do with wanting to learn how to trade or wanting to execute on a trade. There are things going on in their life that are forcing them to execute because they believe that they need to pay a bill, they don't like their job, they want something. There's something driving you to execute in that fashion. If you look at what Raja does, if you look what I do, we sit back, we take 1 or 2 trades, and we call it a day. And then, the argument comes, well, guys, I have a $100 account, and if I take 1 or 2 trades a day, it's only going to be $10, or it's only going to be $5. And I ask you this question, very simply, is if you only have a $100 account, what do you think you can do in a single day to build that account? And if you are trying to build that account and you are risking more to build that account, there is a higher probability that you're going to lose that account than you are going to win with that account. And you have to allow the power of compounding, the power of time and experience to build that account for you. And I've said this before, if you need money, you need to go get a job, you need a different occupation, you need to do something to go get money. Forex is not going to make you the money you think you're going to make with a $100 account. The $100 account over the next year will grow to $1,000, $5,000, $10,000. I guarantee it, if you take your time, it will grow. It will not pay your bills. It will not buy you bottle service on the weekend. It will not pay for your fancy dinners. But when you allow yourself to trade comfortably, execute with high probable setups, you will grow your account. In the meantime, go get a part-time job, go work at Home Depot, go cut lawns, go wash cars, go drive Uber, go do something else where you do not feel pressure to catch trades every day, or if you miss a trade, you're forcing yourself to take an entry just because you need that specific dollar amount for that day. Otherwise, you feel that you failed. And once you break out of this cycle of the necessity to force trades because you need money, you realize you will make more money because the dollar figure doesn't matter anymore. It's where am I in the markets and where can I hunt a trade that will get me the best possible setup. And if you look at what Raja does every day, he posts charts winning trades. And people say, wow, that guy wins, he never loses. He has a few losses, but his wins are always very, very precise. It's executed. But he's never turning around saying to you, guys, we need to find a trade today because I have to pay my cell phone bill. I have to buy Sanan a new toy. He never once says that. He never once worries about where his financial status is. All he's worried about is, am I finding a profitable opportunity where I've seen this happen before, or where my risk is less than my reward and I'm able to execute comfortably. And you can see he did a trade today, perfectly executed, perfect win. Now you can sit the entire day and just relax and just enjoy yourself. Ted, I heard you made $1 million from $200. Well, I don't know who you heard that from because you didn't hear it from me. If you make 100 pips a day, you can build the account, but that's hard. Well, then don't trade. Once again, Ali, just basically cemented my entire thought process and my entire little statement. Exactly what he said will be the exact reason why he fails. Making 100 pips a day is hard, but I can't build the account. I won't be able to build the account. That's exactly the reason why you're going to fail. Because right away you've put a barrier in front of yourself saying it's going to be hard. Who said trading was easy? Who said that doing this every day is easy? I'm exhausted half the time doing this because we're trading every single morning. I'm doing other things. But if you're passionate about it and you enjoy this, you wake up and you do it. And that's basically what you need to do, is you need to sit back and make a realistic goal for yourself and just continue on that path. Maybe it turns around and it takes a year to do it. Maybe it takes 5 years to do it. Maybe after year 3, you decide trading isn't for you. Who knows? But if you're going to constantly turn around and say, that's hard, this is hard, that's hard, you're never going to get anywhere. Everything in life is hard. If this was easy, Everybody would be doing this. Think logically. Every time you say, you make a statement, or you think of something, think logically and say to yourself, what would 100 other people be thinking about this? And if the rationale is the same, chances are it's a lot bigger than what you think, right? Because if everybody was a good trader, there would be no one else doing any other jobs. All we would be doing is trading. So a perfect example of this is in Fort McMurray, which is in Alberta, Canada. Alberta, Canada has the biggest area for oil in Canada. When oil was very, very expensive, people that worked in oil were making more money than anybody else. And everybody wanted to work in the oil industry. There was a Tim Hortons in Fort McMurray, which is considered like the Canadian Starbucks or whatever you want to compare it to a coffee shop. Though people that were working in Tim Hortons were getting paid $70,000 or $80,000 a year to serve coffee because nobody wanted to take a job at Tim Hortons because there was more money being made in oil. So let that perspective sink in for a bit, that if everybody wants to be a trader and there's no one doing any other jobs, then we have a problem. So that's why trading is hard. Okay? So sit back, enjoy the ride. You're going to be here for the next 5 years. Think about that. If you don't want to be here for the next 5 years, then there's no point. You might as well quit. Because I've been here since 2015. So think about that for a second.
I think people just need perspective on it. Like if you start at 30 and it takes you 5 years to start making 500 to 1,000 a day, and you're 30 years old, I guarantee you don't know a single person that makes 500 to 1,000 a day in a couple hours in the morning.
Yep, that's exactly it.
Yeah, it's the long game. If you get rich quick, you're going to lose it quick.
That's exactly it.
Okay, now I'm going to go here and say to my girlfriend, I'll be back.
See you later, Paul. If you're looking for previous setups and you've shown up late, go back and watch the replay. It's already 8:40. You're already almost 2 hours late. That's disgusting.
Yeah, that's actually true. Super late.
He's super late for what?
He wants to know what trades have been open, stop loss, take profit. They're on the left side of the screen. The trades have already been taken. You show up late to the office. You don't get the donuts in the morning. You get nothing. You look
That's right.
You look at the empty donut box.
With
First time here for me. Yep, you're late. Doesn't matter your first time here. You're late. So make sure you show up next time on time. If not, then you can watch the replay. That's not me being an asshole. That's just me being legit. Because Raja shows up here every morning at 6:30. Sometimes a little late because he's tired or he's got other things to do. But man, if you look at the history of this stream, which has been going on for the last year and a bit, I think he's missed maybe a handful of streams, and he's been late, I think, maybe 3 or 4 times out of like 250 times. So always make sure that you show up on time, and if you don't show up on time, you can turn around and you can watch the replays of the streams, and you can watch specific parts of the streams. I think, Rakil, you can probably edit the stream too, right? After it's on the replay, where you can timestamp the trade and stuff like that. I don't know. I thought there's ways that you can do that, but who knows? But all the replays are there. Watch the timestamps and enjoy. what is happening with gold? Gold has bounced off that 1493 and now we're at 1496. So those who took buys, they survived that pullback. Congratulations. And if you look at the 5-minute charts, you will see we're starting to move away from that support area. So congratulations. Now, when you go to the 15-minute chart, you can see the current 15-minute candle has a tail. And what you do is when you look at that 15-minute chart on gold, you will see another candle just a little bit over, I think 3 candles over, that has a tail onto the upside. And you can see where this tail tapped into that previous zone and now is pulling away. And now when you look at the 15-minute candle on gold, and as you see it pull, now you're looking to see where the targets are going to be. And you can see targets are starting to go, and it looks like there might be a target to almost 14.99. And now you ask yourself that question, you say, well, how would I have known this? When you map out and you go back onto the streams and you watch the replay, we talked about 1493 being a very, very hard support because it matched up with a lot of daily candles. And we just needed confirmation that we were moving away from it. So if you took the trade, congratulations, you won. If you didn't take the trade, now you can start to look at the opportunity and say to yourself, how would I have been able to take that trade? Ted, are you going to be in Miami? I might show up for a couple of days. I might show up for a day or something like that. Just come visit people and do my thing. But Rakil owns Market Fluidity. If he invites me to speak, sometimes he does. I will show up and I will say a few words. But that is Rakil's baby, and he does a good job doing that. He is probably the hardest working man in Forex currently.
Man, all you gotta do is just show up. Because yesterday when you other day when you asked me if you should come, like, why is he asking me? Like, he's just right
well,
there.
I didn't know where it was.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
You didn't tell anybody the address, so I messaged you. And then I knew you were busy and you didn't respond. I'm like, oh, maybe he's just super busy.
Yeah, Ted, you better come down from Miami so we can party with Rakil.
Okay. Well, I'm going to try. I think we're going to have a whole bunch of people come again. Yeah, no, I don't drive to Miami. I just fly. It's only a 2-hour flight, so it's 2.5 hours. No big deal.
I mean, you're a grown-ass man. You do what you want, but it would be cool for you.
Yeah, no. I think we'll have the same group that was down there the last time, so I think we'll have a good time. So I think it'll be fun, and Rakil will get to see sort of Miami the way we've seen it. Maybe not to the same extent because I don't think we'll do the same things, but there's some fun stuff.
Yeah, Miami highlight.
Yeah, hopefully we get to do the boat ride again. To have to talk to the guys to get the boat out.
Vikash, should I buy XAU USD? Vikash, I think if you buy XAU USD, your stop loss is going to be 45 pips. Well, actually no, let's 36 pips around 1493.50. It's always the people from India.
Am I in the US? No, I am in Canada.
Hey, Davor.
Yep, Sri Lanka and India. Well, someone caught Euro sells at 1118. Congratulations. That's a great. Man, people are doing well. Oh, people from Netherlands. See, here's an opportunity where we used to do this as well, is when you start to see people, if you see that are in the same region or the same city, this is where you can start messaging them and be like, hey, let's meet up and let's talk about trading and build your own communities.
Yeah.
And when you do that, you'll be able to, have a little community to yourself and help yourselves grow. How would I have got along? Didn't get any confirmation. Well, then there's no trade. That's it. Simple.
Ooh, wow, we got people from all over the place.
Yeah, see, if you find this people in the same region as yourself on these chats, like there's right now 660 people in there, connect with each other. Ooh, Istanbul. I have a company in Turkey, Istanbul, Turkey. I own a company there. Also, make sure they're not serial killers. Yeah. Look at that. Now everyone's asking. Everyone. Look at that. Wow, Czech Republic, Ghana, South Africa, Maryland, Dubai, Northwest England, Cameroon, Singapore. Okay, all right, wow. Ted, does Dan Bilzerian legit poker player? Have you knowledge about him? I have as much knowledge as the internet. Because that's where I read about Dan Bilzerian on the internet.
Oh, he's legit poker player, right? He won 21 million playing World Poker.
Yeah. I own a travel and tourism company in Istanbul.
You do, Ted?
Yeah. I opened it about a few months ago.
Oh, nice, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you need any workers, I'll go with it.
I'll go there.
Yeah, I'm in the process of buying some hotels, so I needed a company out there.
GJ will reach 129. What do you think? I think to reach 129, it needs to break below 129,300 now, which it just broke out of. Oh, my son has the flu. Seems like we're going to Walmart here soon to buy some toys. Flurge on.
That sucks, bro.
Yeah. We're gonna get the whole rack of the Paw Patrol toys. Rebel on the double. Chase is on the case.
What an ugly, like, market moving thing.
Yeah, I mean now when you're looking at the charts, you'll find that like the moves happen early in the morning.
Like pre-New York?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think if you got in before New York, a lot of the trades right now would be just running in profit and you wouldn't have to enter more trades, but now it's starting to get a little choppy.
GJ flying, yes. See, if you had stops, trading stops, where do we have them? At lower highs, lower high, and boom.
And EJ did exactly what I said to the T.
Wow, GJ is just flying. Oh my God, GJ's flying too.
He's flying too.
Yeah.
Must be Boris Johnson talking.
I don't believe it. I don't believe those guys.
I guess we were right here again that GJ's gonna move bullish.
Yeah. The daily candle's now moved hard.
Yeah.
And it's breaking out of that area. Holy cow.
I wonder what happened.
Okay, GU.
Is GU moving up too?
Yeah, really hard.
Wow, looks like
GCAD too.
EJ went all the way down to that box I had on my
oh
chart.
shit.
Came all the way back up. EJ.
Oh, 130's been hit. 130.
Oh
Wow.
Wow.
Oh my god.
looks like our professionals from the UK are in drawdown again.
Alright, let's see.
Where can this even fucking go? Jesus.
You're Island, man.
GU sells, no stop loss. Very nice.
Going up to. Okay, then. I don't know where.
Oh wow.
Wow.
If it gets above 1.22489, those are going to be the cleanest buys anyone ever gets.
What the hell just happened, bro?
Damn.
Wow. GG.
GJ, holy cow.
Wow.
Oh my. Holy
I was looking at those buys on GU, but I did not trust it.
Wow.
And it's still pushing.
Yep.
Let me put it back on my chart.
Anyone catch that?
No.
Not at all.
Those have been perfect buys. That makes perfect sense. Yeah. It wasn't that big of a move, guys. It was only 87 pips in about a minute.
Not big at all.
No. We can catch that every day.
Let's see if I can take some position.
Wow, man, this is a very insane move. Someone caught GCAD buys and GJ buys. Holy fuck. Look at this GCAD. 100 pips. 1 hour candle.
Yep.
Damn. Some accounts got blown 100%.
100%.
God damn.
Or some grew a couple 100%.
Yeah.
That $100 account might be getting close to 1,000 now.
That guy did say he wanted to get 100 pips a day. There you go.
Yep, day one. I always just gotta catch a move like that every single day. That'll be easy. So I tried to annoy my girlfriend, but apparently she like loves me and whatnot, and I couldn't do it. She wouldn't get annoyed.
Did not expect that.
Yeah, I did not.
Did
I
not
didn't believe buys at all. Because it's daily resistance like nothing.
I expected a bullish move, but not to this extent, you know.
Yeah, it went through, I mean, GU went through 2 really strong daily levels, so I'm just going to watch the fireworks show now.
What happened, my friend?
There was no news or anything, right?
Oh, baby, I'm catching that shit way down, baby. I'm catching it on the way down, though. Love is love, love, love is love.
Yeah, Marco flat there, Marco. DJ's coming down.
stick with the Forex family. You don't overtrade. You don't call tops and bottoms. And you trade with the trend. And you put a stop loss all the time.
I wonder if you would get more viewers
All the time.
trading against the trend because it would be different.
Yeah.
It would just draw more people because they would want to see you lose all your money.
You know what's going to draw people to the stream? If people hit the thumbs up button there on the live stream.
Leaving a comment might help too.
Yeah, if they hit the thumbs up, a lot more people are going to get access to this information.
Sorry, everybody. I thought 130 wasn't going to get hit today, but it did.
You were wrong, Ted.
You clearly don't know how to trade if you didn't expect this move.
Yep, I was wrong.
You were wrong.
I was wrong. Wow.
You said it's going to hit later. It hit today.
Yep. Jeez.
God damn.
Good gold move.
Wow. From this move, I got what, like 15 pips out of it?
Man, this would be awesome because now we have a new target going up to 130. Wow, this is going to start creeping up pretty good. This is awesome.
Clean target.
That's a 100 pip 30-minute candle.
Yep.
Mark it up.
Rack it up.
Oh no, that's kind of bad.
Wow, the next hour is going to move hard.
I don't know how I feel about GU on the forum.
Next hour. Or maybe it's just going to move before the next hour.
What's this? Wow, since we started these live streams, we've had 1000% gain on everything. 1000% gain on everything. Ooh. 1.3 million minutes watched.
Yeah, GU could be really clean. It's a nice area.
I'm just figuring out how could I have caught this move. That's what I'm figuring out. Maybe you would have had a buy stop.
Damn, gold is pushing. What the hell's going on?
Yeah, gold is pushing too. Yeah, I guess
everything is just gone.
Merkel saying some stuff is creating some uncertainty in the market.
Hopefully you caught that hour push up right at 9.
Yeah, we can
I
find
just caught it. I told everybody, but it's going to keep moving. This hour candle is going to be a rocket ship.
Yeah. So basically, Merkel doesn't want Brexit.
Well, he does, but he says that there'll be options for the soft exit.
Oh, okay.
Second trade, 120 pips, or 12 pips, 20 seconds.
Is that gold?
No, it was GJ.
Oh.
GJ just flew up like 13 pips in like 1 minute.
Yeah, we should feel that wick.
Yeah, it's going to.
Okay then.
So much for the morning being boring.
Yeah.
Yep. But that's good because now we're above 130, so 131, 132, all that stuff's going to start happening now.
Yeah. So that means CAD news tomorrow for GBP CAD.
Ooh.
I got a Windows computer finally.
Oh, nice! Congratulations.
Yep. It was an old one from when I was in school, and like I threw a pencil at the screen and it shattered it. But the computer works fine, so I just plugged it into one of my external monitors. Works like a charm.
Since GJ breaks out of the 129.80, then it would be a smooth ride up to 131.90. Well, now you got to look at the 4 hour, right? Looking at the 4 hour and 4 hours moving. So now, like, you know how he said it's going to come up to even like 131, 131.600. This is where buying gets.
This is amazing.
This is where buying gets really hard. That how far will it push?
Keep going.
Oh my god.
Keep going.
That's nuts.
I'm a mad scientist working off the 5-minute charts. Sorry, I just made another big move. Sorry. I told everybody at 9 o'clock to buy TJ because the hour candle was up.
Clear range, TJ.
Yeah, you said it would rocket.
I did.
Yeah, GU did the same thing, but
Yep, I said 9 o'clock, buy GJ, it's going to rocket.
yeah.
Kind of difficult to gauge where to re-enter this trade on GJ.
Yeah, you would have had to get in right at 9 o'clock. And what you would have had is, if you look at the idea behind the trade at 9 o'clock is, you know that the 5-minute wick on TJ is going to get filled because of momentum at 9 o'clock. So what you're doing is you're essentially putting a buy stop at 130, 300 almost. Yeah. And then you're executing to fill at basically 130, 550. That's your exit point. If you got a little bit extra, that's fine. And then what you'd be doing is you'd be watching the 1 minute charts, because you can see at 130, 288 support was created on the 1 minute, which is supporting your idea for the 5-minute chart to have the wick filled. And you know how fast GJ runs. So what you're doing is you're essentially then placing your stop loss below the wick fill at 130, 158. And at that point, it took off. And as soon as it fills at 150 or 130, 500, 550 area, you have to exit right away. If you let it run a little bit more, great, or you got slipped up, that's fine. But after that, the trade is done. You're not trying to execute anything more other than that wick fill. And the reason for that wick fill is because you're catching the momentum from the previous hour's push. So what happens is people are exiting at that hour end. That's why we had that pullback. And then what's happening is they're pushing up the next candle at that point. So it's a very, very fast trade, but this will happen on multiple time frames. So if you look on the hour time frame, or you look at like the 4-hour time frame, that is a fill, because that is happening momentum. The only thing is GJ moves much, much faster than any other pair. So you have to be very quick, and you have to understand exactly what's happening at that point for GJ.
Yeah, I caught some of the push there.
Yeah,
it was very, very brief. I caught about 10 pips, and
yes, that's exactly it. Yeah, that's exactly it. You're not catching anything more than that, and you're not trying to extend that move, because you don't know how far up we're going to go, and that is your target. So that's a perfect example, is where you set your target, you have your stop loss, hit your target and get out, because now it's pulled all the way back to that original point. And what you can do now is, if you're looking to hunt that trade further, is you would look at now your higher time frames, your 15-minute time frame, your 30-minute time frame, and start mapping out where a support is at that level, and seeing where we're going to break up to at that point.
Yeah, that was the fastest 40 pips I ever made.
like legitimately, like it flew up in 1 minute, like 30 pips, and I was like, cool.
Even when Rakil was saying about doing that simple market structure of higher highs, higher lows, I was on the 30-minute, I was actually entering in the trade, and I didn't do it fast enough, and that's when it just shot up. And I was like, oh my God. So
this happened just as I upped my lot size as well. So as I was watching the trade, my heart was just pounding, and I just got out 10 pips later.
Yeah, well, you're getting used to it now. And if you look at EG now, remember we were talking about EG earlier, is it's broken down past that previous structure, and it hit almost, which is funny, it almost hit to where we were talking about the exit point was, which would be like 390, 300, 90, 250. It almost hit that exit point on the daily. So now you can look at EG as a perfect example of the fact that we've broken out of that market structure on the daily. And now next week, if we continue to drop, our next target will be 89,260, and eventually down to 89 or 87 eventually at this point, because we're correcting that whole entire EG move all the way up. We're correcting that all the way back the other way, if the pound stays positive.
Wow. And G has got a huge correction to make too, if you look at it on the daily. If GBP stays strong.
Wow, okay. Did you say you're going to have a buy stop on 130 area?
No, I already executed the trade. I'm done.
Oh, okay. Oh, damn. That one. Spike was perfect.
Yeah, it's just the tendencies that you have with GJ because it moves so fast. Those are the tendencies with GJ. So you're able to execute on that, knowing that exactly what's going to happen is going to be that move at that point.
Why is this all happening when I'm not trading? Gosh. Looking at
Davor Harney. I don't think you should start trading until, like, you know, we've had our session or something, or since you made a trading plan. So you should just relax till then.
Roger.
Hey, how you doing?
How long you gonna stay?
Maybe 15-20 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah. Because I mean,
Man, why is it getting so early now? It's 10, wasn't it?
Oh, we have 3 hours.
That's for true. Shit.
You're late, bro.
Yeah, I know, man. I just gotta work.
Oh,
I'm
good
on
job.
I'm on my way home. Today I kinda get a break until afternoon.
Yeah, I'm gonna head out. My trading time is up, so I'm gonna simulate and go to work.
I can't wait for this GCAT drop correction. Oof, my lord.
I don't think you're gonna get it.
There's a daily.
Not today, obviously, not today, maybe, but it's gonna correct that move for sure.
He might.
What do you think, then? What do you think? Because look at the daily and 4 hour on the GCAT. All those impulsive moves were corrected right up.
I think that. Yeah, go ahead, Raja. Sorry.
That's Alex's buying top and calling tops and bottoms is talking right now.
I just feel that fundamentally the pound is getting stronger, so it might be more difficult to say that that's now going to be a correction.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, so I just be very cautious now as we start to enter positivity with the pound, that some corrections or some moves aren't going to be corrections, they're new highs.
And if we really look at it, it's correct. It's already correcting that big drop from July 26th.
That is correct.
So it's correcting that move up, coming down.
Yes, so that's why I'd just be very cautious.
Yes, sir.
Like right now, as an example, like GJ has now broken out a bit on the daily. So what you can look at is on the weekly now. The weekly wick is now positive. So now I think we finally found support at 120. What's supporting this? This is we finally found support at 127. So if there's continued positive information, we're going to fly all the way back up to probably 135 eventually. So our first stop should be around 132.390 on the daily, and then we should be going to about 133, and then finally up to 134. And at 134, that's where we begin the traffic level. So if you're swinging GJ right now, if you're in a buy with GJ, I would continue to hold that buy and manage your stops accordingly at this point. Because if more positive news comes out, you saw how fast GJ moved. It's gonna blow through these levels very, very quickly. So just be very, very aware that any positive news with the pound will spike the pound up extremely hard and fast.
Wow, UK is rushing up again.
And gold spiked up a bit as well. So gold's correcting that move as well. So just keep that in mind. I mean, just use logical ideas and logical deductions, and I think you're going to find that you'll have a lot of opportunity. Today was a good day. If Raja and I held our trade at 129.400, we would have had a very good trade.
Yeah, if we would have held it, man.
Yeah, it's the same, but it was the same approach. It's just the catalyst there for that move up was basically fundamentals. So I mean, the technicals lined up with the fundamentals at this point. So now you can start to see that the fundamentals are starting to push technicals in the direction that we need. And every time there's going to be positive news about Brexit, GJ is going to pump. Now keep in mind, if GJ decides to fall, so here's the opposite side of the coin, right? Because then you can turn around and say, well, what if there's bad news about GJ? If there's bad news about the pound, now you have levels that we can hit to, right? So we've broken out of this range at 129. So if there's any negative news about the pound, now you know that we can drop right back into 129.600. So these are now different ideas where you can start mapping out levels, because people turn around and they message me a lot and say, well, how do I know where this is going to go or what my target can be? Now you can map out previous targets. You can say that on 30-minute, 129.600 was resistance, and we broke out of there. So we know that now will be a support potentially for a move down. So that's where you would target your trade if you were going to sell and there was news to affect the pound to create a negative move. It would drop down to 129.600. So this is how you now will map out your trades, and you'll say, okay, we broke out of that level. If anything, we're going to return down to that level at that point. But that's only if there's super negative news about the pound. Right now, there's super positive news about the pound. So keep that in mind.
Will the EU be affected by that?
Take a look at the EU chart. So are you talking about Euro USD or the Euro?
Euro.
Okay, so now look at all the Euro charts and see what's happened with them. And that is your answer. Right, so the Euro is making a move up a bit with the pound, with the EJ is moving up, Euro USD is moving up. The only one that will struggle will be euro pound, because the pound is fundamentally stronger than the euro from the long-term perspective. So that's where you'll see the euro drop against the pound, but the euro will gain strength against other pairs because now there's stability returning. So fundamentally, you have to understand what is happening in the world. Brexit affects euro pairs and pound pairs. When there is a resolution to this fundamental event, money will be pushed back into those pairs because there is stability again, and people can do commerce, they can do trade, and they can do business again with those two currency pairs, the pound and the euro. But now when you trade specific cross pairs, so Euro JPY, Euro USD, Euro GBP, you have to evaluate what each currency is doing in that cross. If Euro JPY, if JPY is weak and Euro is strong, Euro JPY is going up. If Euro GBP, you trade that and you know the pound is strong and the Euro is strong, then more than likely there will be a correction, but it may range more than it's going to drop. Right? Euro USD, same idea. If the US dollar is weak and the Euro is strong, Euro USD will go up. Right? But if the USD is strong with the Euro at the same time, it's going to range. So you have to be able to develop those habits in your head and understand what is happening fundamentally. Watch all news broadcasts, type in Google, Forex news, currency news, type in any keyword that you were going to ask me as a trader. You're going to say, oh, I'm going to ask Ted about where do I find fundamentals? Punch that into your Google and use that. Don't use Ted as Google, Google as Google, because Google will give you that information. And then you come back to these chats and these live streams and you say, hey, Raja, hey, Ted, I read this article on this website. Can you help clarify this, or does this make sense? What do you think is happening here? And do you have any other information to add to this? That is how you talk and discuss trading. You do not ask questions about, hey, what about this? What about that? You go do your research, then you come back and you create a discussion about the research that you found. And you will become a better trader faster because you are learning how to use research skills, and you're learning how to use critical thinking skills, because you're forming an opinion and an idea before you validate it with other people who you believe that are smarter than you in this sector, or that you have faith in, or that you love or think that are gods. You will then have a good train of thought on how you were able to process that information, and you will realize that, hey, I'm not as stupid as I think I am. You're actually pretty smart.
Oh, thank you.
No problem.
I will keep that in mind before I ask you something.
Yeah, no, but because it's only going to help you, because what if I'm sleeping? What if I die in a car accident tomorrow? What are you going to do? You're going to stop trading? No. So the idea is you have to go and fish for that information, and then you just bring it back and you validate it with a group of people to see, hey, am I thinking along the right line? Am I thinking correctly? Does my idea make sense? That's how you should be trading. That's how you should be expressing yourself. You shouldn't just sit here and be like, so what do you think about GBP CAD? What do you think about this? What do you think about that? Like, that's not how you're going to learn. You're going to learn by saying, hey, listen, guys, this is what I saw yesterday. I read this article on Bloomberg. What do you think the impact is on this currency pair? I believe that this is what's going to happen. You have to take a risk, and you have to express your ideas and your opinions based on what you've read, based on what you've done, so that you can grow as a person. If people don't do that, you don't grow, because what happens the next day when nobody's here to help anybody? Then what? You just sit there and stare at the screen? No, you have to be able to make ideas, and you have to be able to create those things. And Bobby, I'm not just talking to you, I'm talking to everybody. I'm just saying, but it's just so that you understand how your thought process should work, and you're going to become more confident, because you're going to be talking about different things, and then suddenly you're going to be like, man, I knew this before those guys knew it. So now your confidence goes up, but more importantly is your train of thought. Now you're positively reinforcing your train of thought and how you're executing and doing things. Whoever is selling GBP AUD, oh, yeah, life's rough.
Wow, man, this thing went to 130. I was like, yeah, no way, 130, 100. And then 130, 600. Like, what the fuck?
Yep.
136.
Nutty, nutty.
Hey, Ted.
Yes.
Quick question for you. If you already explained it, I'm sorry, but
Yeah, no problem.
the now that big push we had on the pound. Now is that because of the size of it and that it didn't directly stop, like in a pinpointed resistance? That's why you went in on that second push, or?
Because we have momentum right now, and if you look at the initial push, is always more than likely going to get filled again, and it's usually the next hour that fills it. Because that push happened so late in the previous hour, when everything reset at 9 o'clock, I knew that we were going to get that push again, just because I've seen it happen thousands of times.
Right.
Like that to me is a trade that I see happen every day of the week. That you have that push up, and then pull back, and then we push again.
I mean, because it was immediately. It was like no bottom wick. It was just.
Yeah, and that's where you put a pending order and then let it shoot right through your pending order and then pull all the way up and just have your stops below that previous price area.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Yeah. And also keep in mind now, the next push for the market will probably be towards the London close, right? Because now orders will be leaving the market, but more importantly, we'll probably have another impulse and a further rocket up. As more news hits the market about what Boris Johnson and that French president is talking about, the French prime minister is talking about, there's going to be more information pushed through that at that point.
Now to grab that next push, we want to see it maybe on one of the lower time frames, have resistance there, support rather.
Yes, correct. So what you'd be doing is on GJ, as an example, when you're looking at GJ right now and you turn around and you look, and you can see on the 30-minute, we only have one 30-minute candle. So to me, that's not enough information to say that a support has been created. So what I would do is I'd start looking at the 15-minute candles, and I can start to see 15-minute candles are creating support. But keep in mind, the shorter time frames, the support can easily be broken. So what I'll be looking for is I'll be looking to see how this 9 o'clock hour finishes, and then if we're going to get another pullback. If we don't get another pullback, it's very, very difficult to peg where we're moving up to or where we're going to go at that point. So you just have to keep that in mind that right now, because of the daily candle and where we're at, it's going to be very difficult to trade at this level. And what you may want to do is wait for the level to correct a bit and then take entries pushing towards the level that it previously hit. So don't try and jump into the trade if you're not comfortable with the risk. The idea, once again, would be make sure we have something there to support the idea. Like I'm looking at the 5-minute charts, and you can see support was created at like 130.278, and there was a range up to 130.500, right? But you can see this 5-minute candle, as it's starting to push in a new half hour, you could turn around and say 137.700 could be a possible target. But you know that target, the probability of that target is very low, in the sense that we haven't hit it before, so it's a fresh target. So it might be difficult to get there, but eventually we should get there if we're continuing with the momentum. Now, when you look at the timing of the session that you're in, we're coming towards the end of the London session, so this might slow down a bit. So the potential or achievability of that target diminishes because of the fact that we're coming towards the end of the London session and we're not going to have an influx of volume. If we do have an influx of volume, that's going to be where your target's going to be. But I would err on the side of the fact that we already did a 100-pip move in about an hour. So then more than likely tomorrow, let the candle refresh and reset and then catch the majority of the move tomorrow. Or if there's a pullback tomorrow, even better, because then when the new week starts on Monday, you have a whole opportunity and a whole week to catch that entire move all over again. So you're able to repeat and double dip in the exact same price level.
Right. Yeah. For me, I think it'd be a lot better decision to wait for that pullback around that 129,500 area, because that would be, that's where you have that whole range again.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
But just keep in mind, if it doesn't go back there, you're sort of playing in no man's land. But all you have to do is you have to just look at the higher time frames and look left to see where possible targets are. Like we can already see on the daily with GJ as an example, we pulled out and we pulled above the previous resistance level on the daily. You can say that there was a resistance at 130, 231. So there's more than likely we're probably going to pull back to that area perhaps. But now you can see on essentially on GJ, your next target would be probably 132, 289. Because you have a full daily candle that's very clean, that dropped very hard. So that daily candle is going to correct. It's not going to correct in the same format. It may bounce up and bounce down and bounce up and bounce up, but that is a clear window for a bullish move to go all the way back up to 132, 350, 289, whatever, because you can see there's rejection at that point on the daily at 300, 132, 300 or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, I hope we get like a pretty, although it's not always happens this way with GJ, but I hope we get a pretty clean pullback and like a clean setup to go up, because that would be a really great trade.
Right, but you can see Raja's mapped out on the 4-hour charts. You can see where our target can be. You have essentially, when you look at the overall idea and the target, you can see essentially we should be going first to this level here. So you can basically say, hey, if this forms support over here at this point, if we hold support, we know that we can bounce off of this and continue all the way up. And we're just going to have a zigzag pattern all the way through this until we bounce all the way up.
Right. Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Wonder if we'll get a similar move on UJ, because UJ is at that high time frame resistance right now, but we got a little bit for the 4-hour to close, but I think it looks pretty nice. The previous candle just broke back up, so.
I think like a really good GG opportunity would be if the 1 hour and the 4 hour start making some sort of a support, because now like once that support is formed, 100% this is heading to 131,500, and that's a very safe target.
Correct. And then the thing is, what I'd also be looking for, Raja, is I'd be looking for rejections at this level. I want candles pulling back and rejecting so that we have that base created. And once we have that base created, you know 100% that we're going up to that level.
Yes.
Do you guys call the trades before they happen all the time? Will you stream tomorrow? Sure. Just wondering if we are sports commentators. Nope. Sports commentators are on the other streams. You know goal after the goal, kind of? No. How you guys looking at gold? Nope. Has gold hit 1,500?
Yes.
Oh, that's surprising. Well, not surprising, but I mean, we bounced off that 1493 marker. So if you were here earlier when we talked about 1493 and people were looking for buys, remember what we talked about, taking buys? There's your opportunity at that moment.
Alright guys, I'm gonna head off.
Oh, bless him. Bless you, little guy.
Yeah, he's here to wreak havoc now.
Alright, Familia, have a good one.
Alright, take care everybody. No, that's the power button.